You're listening to Carrie Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Carrie Lutz. Today is October 29th, 2021. I've got a special guest on here. You have been hearing about car shortages, chip shortages, inability to get cars, no new cars on the dealer lots, used cars, prices through the roof. What is going on here? Why is it happening? Well, I have Heath with me, and he is the ultimate car negotiator. Heath, you've been at this business for over 8 years. You've personally helped people acquire thousands of cars, myself included. I've gotten 3 cars through you and probably another one very shortly. And I figured, look, something's going on here. One of the things on FSN, we don't buy the party line. What is happening? So I figured, let's talk to Heath and get to the bottom. First, the shortage. How real is it?
It's as real as it gets.
I drove by a Toyota dealer that in Broward County, I think in Hollywood, and normally he would have had hundreds of vehicles on his lot, and he had it was empty. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, the lack of production on the cars right now.
So what you're seeing here, and then this is carried on into used cars, pre-owned car market. We're seeing prices skyrocket on them as well.
Yep. Used cars are up, if I'm not mistaken, like 28% in the last year.
Yeah, it's like some of these cars are actually selling more for used than they did when they were new.
Yeah, because it's in some of the cases you can't get them new anymore. So the only alternative you have is to go on a used one.
Yeah, and it seems like mileage doesn't matter anymore, just getting the car in and of itself. But a car that wasn't a great car and you buy it with 50,000 miles on it, how much life can it have left in it?
But the consumer, unfortunately, right now, that can be their only alternative resort if they can't find what they want new.
Right. So is it the chip shortage that's happening here? Is it the automakers' quest for profits? Is it an attempt perhaps to squeeze out dealerships? What's your thoughts here?
There's definitely a substantial chip shortage going on now. Are they slow playing the chip shortage? If I had to make an educated guess on it, I think they're slow playing it I think they figured it out, Kerry, that they can maximize profits with 67% less vehicles.
Yeah, and less workers to pay, less injuries, less lawsuits, everything that you have running a modern business these days. They have less liabilities, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the question is there a broader scheme here? Is there a long-term scheme that they are playing out here to their benefit?
I am starting to see some brands, 22s, starting to trickle in a little bit, but very, very slowly. I personally think, you're probably looking at another 15 months, a good 15 months for things to get more on the normal basis. If it ever gets back to a normal basis. Which
is looking like a big if now. Hey, you talk to tons of dealers all the time. What are the dealers saying?
The dealers, they're very antsy to get more vehicles produced, for sure.
Yeah, they're not making, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing well on their profits, but, they're doing well on the used cars, but they need more vehicles to come in so they can get more units out.
Yeah, it's rather remarkable. Have you ever seen anything like this in your life? Because I sure have.
Never seen anything like it. It's also hurting them as far as service goes. Because they're not putting out the new cars, then, service departments.
So have you heard the stories where cars that would otherwise, they're damaged, get into an accident, they would otherwise be repaired, but because there's no parts available, they're getting totaled out, and even wrecked cars are going for record high prices?
I'm not so knowledgeable about the wrecked cars, but it sounds like that could be accurate.
Yeah, because I've seen articles that cars that had a substantial amount of damage, but the appraiser goes and looks and says there's no way they're going to get the parts to fix it. So he totals it out, and then they get the insurance settlement, and then they got to go find another car, which is extremely difficult to do.
Yes, it is. Unless, in some cases, if you have the time to wait, you can then order a car and build it. I mean, that's definitely one of the waves of the future going on right now that could obviously continue.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, because when the dealers, if we're going to electric vehicles, which whether you believe in them or not, it certainly appears to be the case, then the dealers are like a major impediment in that shift, because the Tesla model and others are going towards it, or is direct ordering from the manufacturer. Doesn't that kind of spell the doom for the car dealers?
Unless they could all get into that electric vehicles sooner than later.
Yeah. Hey, there's also like a huge shortage of mechanics and techs to work on cars. I went to get a new set of tires put on my car a couple of weeks ago. The guy said, hey, we don't have that many cars ahead of you, but there's only me and the tech in the garage back there. It's going to be towards the end of the day. He says they can't get people. When they get them, they leave. You have any knowledge of what's going on with the shortages of skilled auto techs?
No, that I don't have the knowledge of really, but I have heard that just in general, in a lot of businesses, things are becoming like that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that used to be that auto mechanics got paid decent money, but now they're like truck drivers. They've seen their real wages deteriorate, and a much more difficult environment. Hey, when people are managing to get cars now, new cars, how are you pulling it off? How are you getting your clients' cars?
A lot of people right now are accepting to be patient, and we're doing builds on cars, which could take 2 months to 4 months or so. If you're going more on exotic brands, then they could be anywhere from 6 to 12 months. Wow. But a lot of people are accepting doing that to get what they want.
Yeah, no wonder the car companies, you're seeing that their profits are pretty high. Production's in the dumps, and yet they're making as much money as they made when they were doing way more in sales.
You hit it on the nail there. That's absolutely accurate.
Yeah. So you're thinking this could last for another 15 months or maybe even longer, huh?
I'm thinking first quarter of after the first quarter of 23. But again, that's just taking an educated, knowledgeable guess. But I would lead to believe that's around the time frame.
So are you seeing people hoarding cars now, like just buying up cars just to hold on to them because they can't get them and they know they're in short supply, not necessarily because they need the car?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Doré Copper Mining is a premier, near-term, high-grade copper and gold redevelopment opportunity with tremendous exploration potential only 14 kilometers from the town of Chibougamau in mine-friendly Quebec. Doré Copper is debt-free and owns a 2,700-ton-per-day mill with an 8 million-ton tailings facility ready to be used. There is already power to site, and it is accessible by paved highway and rail. Doré Copper aims to produce a profitable hub-and-spoke operation of over 100,000 gold equivalent ounces per year, or over 60 million pounds of copper equivalent by 2024. Because of the existing infrastructure and location, a low capex is anticipated to recommence production. Doré Copper trades under DCMC in Toronto and under DRCMF on the OTC. To learn more, go to dorecopper.com. That's dorecopper.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network. The information you need to thrive now more than ever.
No, I'm seeing more people that really are just in desperate need of a car and going out there and getting it. And, they're being more flexible than being very picky on what they want. A lot of people now are getting more flexible and just understanding that they might not be able to get this, so they'll take that, and they're accepting it. I mean, even an SUV person will take a 4-door now and, vice versa, a 4-door sedan. someone will take an SUV. So I think people are coming to the realization of being more open-minded to getting something than not having a vehicle.
Yeah, which was unheard of because up until the past year, whatever car you wanted, assuming you had the money for it, could afford the credit or whatever, your credit score was high enough, you could literally get any car that you wanted.
Absolutely. And a lot of people who have perfect credit scores and have the money to pay for something and they're getting turned down right now, it's definitely a frustrating thing that they're going through. And it's a frustrating thing for me to not be able to sell somebody a car or lease somebody a car right now that, we try 2-3 times and it could take to the 4th or 5th time to get them something.
Wow. That's kind of unbelievable. That's the whole business model of the auto industry, which is produce as much as you possibly can, maximize your market penetration, even if your profits suffer somewhat from it. It seems to have been thrown out the window,
Yeah, things have changed in the last 8-9 months for sure.
So if someone was coming to you, Heath, and wanted your advice on buying a car now, what would you tell them?
Well, first I would ask them, what their roundabout budget is, what they're looking for, and I would try my best to get as close to what they want as possible. And if it's not out there or they're not willing to wait for it, then I would go about presenting them things that I think could be a alternative to what they want and be something that at least would make them happy and that they can still stay in their budget and enjoy something that, they can ride out until, like I said, this hopefully adjusts itself in the next year and a half.
Yeah, it's funny. This reminds me of when Apple was in the early generations of the iPhone and people would wait online for, hours, sometimes days to get the latest iPhone. And then they'd walk out of the store, hold that phone up triumphantly, like they really accomplished something. I mean, it's kind of getting to that point here with new cars, isn't it? Yeah, well, you got to wonder what is really going on, because it's basically been tracked down to a couple of chip factories in Taiwan and in Japan, and then there was a fire in another chip factory. All of this sounds like plausible, but not necessarily what's actually happening here.
I mean, the best advice I can probably give a consumer right now is to do things in advance. So if they do need a car and, they're giving enough notification to someone like myself, we can probably offer to, build them something if they have the time to wait. But if they give enough advance, then that is definitely an alternative for them to go right now and then get exactly what they want, because they were ahead of the game and kind of actively ask for what they wanted before they need it. So then we can order it and they get it, like I said, in a few months or half a year. But if, they're proactive about that and they have time to wait, then that's definitely the route to go for sure. And that's probably what more of the future is going to be holding in the new car game is, ordering what you want.
Yeah, they call them order cars. No more buying cars off the lot. My partner managed to pick up a SUV. The only reason he got it and he paid $1,000 over list was because a person who had originally ordered it came in for had like a really low credit score, and there was just no way to get her qualified. So he walked in literally the second that deal fell apart. I don't know if they'd gotten a deposit or not, and he walked out with a car, but it was purely a stroke of luck. Otherwise, who knows what would have happened. And the other thing that's bad, Heath, is, if you've got a car that's a clunker, that's getting old in miles, and you want to keep it going along, the price of auto parts has gotten so high, the shortage is so acute that it's really difficult to keep an old car. The old theory that the best way is to ride the car till it falls apart, drive it till it can't drive anymore. And that economically is the best way, but realistically, it's not anymore.
No, you're definitely going to want to get out of that. And these used cars have so much value, you're going to want to time it at a certain point to sell the car. So you can probably get, like I said, 25, 20% more profit than you would have 6, 7, 8 months ago.
Yeah, it's what I call used car arbitrage. And all you had to do was have a bunch of cars that you didn't really want sitting there in your driveway, and they went up in value. Normally, cars have been a wasting asset where you pay one price for it, and then the second you drive it out the dealer's showroom, it rapidly depreciates. It's worth 25% less than the day that you bought it, and all you did was drive it out. I mean, it becomes worth 25% less before the new car smell disappears. And now everything has been stood on its head.
Who would have thought that a car would become a commodity?
Yeah, a positive cash flow asset. We could debate whether it's due to rapid inflation. There's a lot of potential reasons for it. In any event, if you want to talk to Heath, he's an expert in finding these hard to get cars, which in this case is every car now. Every car is potentially a hard to get car. Go to ultimatecarnegotiators.com. ultimatecarnegotiators.com. Heath, is there any other way people can connect with you?
Yeah, they can call me at 954-213-4401. My direct number. We're here to help. We specialize in new car purchasing and leasing, but these days we're obviously also helping people if they need a used car because of the shortage of new cars going on. So anybody who needs help with anything, we'd love to help them. Give us an opportunity. I'm pretty confident we can get you the best deal. And yeah, they can reach us by website or direct call.
All right. Hey, and if you got a question for Heath, just shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. I'll get you an answer. In any event, Heath, all right. Well, thanks for coming on, clearing up some things for us. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, Kerry. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.